Get a jump on your fresh start. Time to get your money right. We talking dollars, talking cents, talking own instead of rent. You got questions, we got truth that you can trust. We live in proof.
We here to help you to get out of debt. Get pencil and paper, sit at your desk. It won't just happen. You must do your part. Be done with the debt and get a fresh start. Get a fresh start.
Happy holidays, my friends. I'm Samuel.
And this is Kirsty with Fresh Start Financial Education.
And we're here to help you get your money right.
Right. But today, we really just wanted to take some time to come on here and just have a candid conversation with you guys about what life was like getting out of debt.
We had some requests where people just wanted to know our story. Mm-hmm. You know, they're gearing up for 2020 and just wanted to know what did we do? What process did we take? How did we communicate with each other during our process? Paying off over $50,000 of debt in our first 15 months of marriage. So, right. With that, what was life like?
It was hard. It was hard. It was definitely a shift for me. Samuel had been paying off debt and had already paid off his debt by the time I met him. Yeah. And he was already teaching other people how to do it.
Ballin'.
For me, it was like coming from chaos to like a lot of structure and like, hey, this is budgeting and this is what we're gonna stick to. And it was like, whoa. But I think eventually I got the hang of it. And but it was definitely initially a shock for me. Like I just had never experienced living structured on a budget, having a plan for my money. I used to just do whatever I want to do, spend, and pay the bills when I could. Yeah. So that it was definitely a shock. I would say that much for sure.
Right. For me, it was embracing this idea that I'm no longer debt free, and my wife and I, when we say I do, not before we say I do, when she was my girlfriend, it was your debt, and I was debt free. But once we said I do, I embraced her debt willingly, and I knew that it was going to be us together tackling it on, because just from a biblical perspective and what I feel God has been teaching me is when you get married, you're one. Mm-hmm. And it's no longer Kirsty's debt, my debt, it's our debt. So we were tackling this thing together.
Right.
And we both made a lot of sacrifices. So for me, the toughest part I would say was when I became debt free when I was single, it kind of I loosened up financially. Meaning, you got more flexibility. You can go out in restaurants and do things and hang out with friends. When we said I do and got married, that slowed down a great deal. So I had to really just lead the way. And our restaurant budget was decreased significantly.
Hold on. So you're saying that it was a difficult transition from when you were paying off debt when you were single and on a strict budget. Then you loosened things up once you paid everything off. You were a little more relaxed with your money.
Yeah.
Then you came back into that. I got to lock down and be stricter with my money all over again.
Right.
But I would imagine it was even intensified because you're talking even more debt.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It was intensified because when I was single, I paid off just about $14,000 of debt. So now seeing 50 plus, it was a challenge. But the thing with me was Kirsty initially thought that I wasn't going to really pursue a long-term relationship with her because of the amount of her debt. But no.
He asked to see my credit report, y'all. He asked when we were dating.
There's context to that situation.
When we were dating, again, like I mentioned previously, he was already facilitating a financial course and helping other people pay off their debt and, get their money right. So when we met, we naturally started having those conversations after he would, finish up the classes. And so we just started having the conversations and I started sharing with him where I was, as far as, the whole money stuff goes. And he said, well, pull your credit so we can see everything that's going on and we can, make a plan and help you start getting out of debt. We weren't even engaged at that time. So initially I was kind of like, this might scare him off. But you didn't.
No, because my biggest thing wasn't to find someone that was also debt-free. What I wanted to know was if she would be willing to follow my lead and for us to come on the same page, get on the same page, and knock out this debt together. And although Kirsty was not debt free, once she began to listen and take on and learn this information and this process and the steps to become debt free, I just wanted to know that she was willing to do it. And from our conversations, which were very honest, I believe she sounded like she was ready to do it. And I let her know up front. Like, for example, one of the things that we did, we delayed our honeymoon.
Right. That was one of the things I was going to say. So I wanted to ask you, what was the biggest sacrifice that you feel like you made throughout our journey of paying off the $50,000? And it sounds like for you, it was going from being debt free to going back to being into debt with an even greater amount.
Right.
For me, the biggest sacrifice was things looking differently than what I had always envisioned of once I get married. Like, once I get married, we're going to have this beautiful honeymoon and we're going to travel the world together and, you know, buy all the stuff that we wanted and all of my dreams were going to come true. And even though that has eventually become our reality, initially it was not. So those first 15 months, things looked much different. It was very strict. In fact, speaking of strict, we would sit down and do our budget every 2 weeks. We did our budget bi-weekly. And we would allocate money to pay the bills and do the different things that we needed to do, pay towards debt. And then when it came to the category of what we call fun money, just the money that we have, our personal money to do whatever we want to do with it, it was $40 each. For a 2-week period.
2-week period. $40.
$40, which means $40 for me to get my nails done, $40 for hair stuff, $40 for
that's all you get.
Eating out, you know, if you want to run out and get some Starbucks or whatever.
You got to stay within that boundary.
$40 for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, we were very much intense.
So when you guys look back and you guys see some of the pictures from when we first got married, you'll notice, you know, it wasn't a bunch of extravagant hairdos. It was not a bunch of new clothes. Samuel was cutting his own hair, messing up his haircut, all kinds of different things. It's true.
All right.
It's true.
Right. She's right.
It's one of the sacrifices that you made. Like, we were not, we just weren't indulging in certain things that we may have been accustomed to prior to. And that was because we were very strict and we were really trying to stick to that budget in order to leave more money to pay towards that debt.
Yeah, we had to tell a lot of our dear friends no to various restaurant requests and sometimes invitations and birthday parties. We had gifts. We would go to birthday parties. You know,
that was hard for me.
Our presence was the gift.
That was hard for me because I'm a person, I love to give nice gifts. I love to try to think through what'll be, you know, thoughtful gifts and things like that. And we have a lot of friends. We have a huge family. So it's always something. There's always an occasion, a gift giving occasion. And so when we would have different things coming up where I would normally want to go out and buy a nice gift, we couldn't do that because it was just, we couldn't put it in the budget and still stay on track with our goals.
Right.
That was hard for me. Right. And he's the one that we used to always say, well, our presence is the gift. And I'm like, yeah, but you gotta walk in with something. But that was hard for me.
It was tough. But so what kept us motivated, well, I'll speak for myself. What kept me motivated is knowing that I've been debt free before. And knowing that feeling, when I was single, the last debt that I had paid off was my car. And when I tell you, when I called, it was a credit union that the car was with. When I called them and paid off that vehicle, I actually walked inside and gave them the last deposit. And immediately, I just felt this feeling of, I just felt liberated. I remember my friends, I called about 4 or 5, I called my mom, I called my friends, closest friends at the time, and I'm debt free. I don't owe anybody. It was such a wonderful feeling. So I wanted my wife to feel and experience that as well. And so that's what kept me motivated, kept me driven, because I know that the reward is greater than the sacrifice. We've been married for 5 years now.
A little over 5.
A little over 5 years, actually. And the paying off the debt period was the first 15 months. So after that period, then, we just this year alone, we've been able to travel to a lot of places. We were reflecting towards the end of the year. We like to reflect and just thank God for the things of this year, of that particular year. And we've done a lot of traveling even this year alone by God's grace. And
we've done a lot of
giving. And that's another aspect of it. A lot of giving. We've had some, without going into great detail, some friends with some great needs. And without even hesitating, we were able to just help. Mm-hmm. And so that's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah.
What else? Helping family members, helping friends, and teaching.
Helping strangers.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge part about it. And we're still learning and growing in the area of giving as well, because it's not just about having fun, it's about giving, it's about helping others. But, you all wanted to know some of the sacrifices. What other sacrifice did we make?
Definitely trying to stick to the budget, giving up the honeymoon.
Initially. We eventually went on a 3-day cruise for our honeymoon. It was my first cruise, by the way.
Y'all, that was not my idea of a honeymoon. That's not a honeymoon.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say we never took a honeymoon. He keeps saying that it was delayed and it was the cruise that we went on like a year later.
All right.
We just didn't have a honeymoon, y'all.
So, yeah, if it doesn't happen on the exact date, like for birthdays, Kirsty, it has to be on the actual day.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't count. So, we did go on a honeymoon, but I guess in my mind, but in her mind, it
was
didn't
not
count. So,
anyway,
we went on a cruise.
That was a big sacrifice. What else? What else do I think is going to be helpful? So we've been getting a lot of questions lately.
Yeah, saying no is key. You're going to have to say no to a move in this. But again, keeping in mind that it's only temporary. There'll be a time where things will lighten up and you'll be able to have more flexibility. But the initial stages, you got to create excellent habits. You got to stick to it and keep in mind the goal. I knew the ultimate goal, the idea of my wife. I remember when we knocked out our last debt was the student loan. And I intentionally asked Kirsty to log in and make the final payment. I wanted her to feel that same thing that I felt when I paid off the car payment when I was single. I wanted her to feel that with us together accomplishing that goal. What did that feel like?
I was just about to say, I remember that morning. It was early in the morning. I think it was December 31st.
December 31st.
Or the 30th?
It was the last day of the year.
It was the last day of the year of 2015.
15? Okay.
It was the last month of 2015. And we were dressed to go to work, but you were like, hey, let's knock out this payment before we leave for work. So I remember we had the laptop and I was kneeling on the side of the bed and, we got logged in and just hit the button. Initially, it didn't really register. It was like, whoa, that's dope. We kind of celebrated a little bit, said a prayer, thanking the Lord for what he had allowed us to be able to accomplish. And
we stood up, we took a picture.
Yep, we took that picture that said that we had eliminated, 50,000 in 15 months, and we crossed out the 50,000.
And by the time I get to my office, which was literally right around the corner, I felt like that post had several hundred likes. It went viral.
It did go viral.
Immediately.
It did go viral.
And we had thousands of messages when it was all said and done. That we were just, oh my God, what do we do? We knew that there was such a great need. People wanted to experience that.
Yeah, that's how Fresh Start came about.
Right.
Was us responding to how many people were reaching out once that post went viral, wanting to know, hey, how did you do it? What can we do to also be debt free? That's literally how Fresh Start came about.
Yeah. So essentially, we just wanted to just come on real quick and encourage you all. It's the end of 2019 approaching. We got one more month, and we wanted to encourage you all to, you can do it.
Yeah.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Right.
You can do it. It's very much possible. You have to be diligent. You have to be focused. If you're married, you can do it. If you're single, you can do it. We have examples on both aspects. You can't say, oh, you guys did it because you're married, you had 2 incomes. No, I did it when I was single.
Right.
So there are no excuses. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Right. And we are still working in this thing.
Yes.
So we eliminated our debt when we were 15 months in. That was the end of 2015. Last year, we purchased our very first home.
Yep.
And we had eliminated all of our other debt, and now we have a portion of our mortgage that we are paying off.
Hey, so listen, stay tuned, because our next post is going to be no more mortgage.
When we pay off this house.
When we pay off this mortgage, that's going to be the next post, and it's coming soon. So don't blink your eye.
Right. So y'all make that post go viral too when we pay this house off. But like Samuel said, you guys can do it. Make the necessary sacrifices. Get on the same page with your spouse.
Yes.
Or just make up in your mind, if you're single, that you're going to be debt free and that you're going to just really put yourself in a better financial situation. I cannot describe how different my life is now than how it was before getting together with Samuel and getting, you know, the financial aspect of my life like together. Like it's just night and day. It's a totally different. It's just different, and it's beautiful. It's a blessing, and we want this for everybody. We want it for you guys. We know that you guys can do it, and we want to help you guys get there.
All right, so happy holidays, everybody. Stay encouraged. Many more videos coming. Say, if you're working a debt-free plan, if you're trying to get out of debt, in the comments section, indicate some of the things that you may be. We'll look at all the comments. Indicate some areas where you might find has been a bit of a struggle for you, and we just want to just kind of continue to keep you guys encouraged. We're on the 1st of January 2020, where we're launching our very first online course called Fresh Start Academy.
Yay!
Stay tuned for that, because we give you the step-by-step process of how we eliminated our debt. In the meantime, have a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas.
Yes. So hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, hopefully Thanksgiving was fantastic.
Hope you're looking forward to Christmas. We definitely are. You guys see our tree back here.
Yes.
We got some other decorations going on in the house. Super excited. Have a Merry Christmas, you guys. We love you all. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And let us know what you guys are working on from and where you guys are in your debt-free journey.